And welcome back to Spekd. Today we're going to be looking at Warhammer Conquest issue number 56. Could this possibly be the best ever magazine that they've released? The best value? Well, let's open up and find out. Alright, where do I start with this? This must be one of the hottest magazines that have come out from this Conquest collection, or probably ever will be. The reason for this is the perfect magazine if you want to start a new Primaris army. You've got a couple of lieutenants in there that they already charged us $7.99 for one. You've got 5 intercessors that they already charged us, what was it, $4.99 for 3. And then you already got your ancient, which they sell on individually for £15 a time. This is crazy. Now, I was trying to get more than one of these, and one was going to be a giveaway, and I'm sorry I couldn't get my hands on it. This thing was just instantly sold out. Even sites that normally have reserved amounts of them, gone. Even if you went on eBay, you could pick this up for 25 quid and you will still be in. You know, you won't lose out on anything. So let's get this opened up and have a good look. Models, Sprue on the back. There are so many of them. Normally we have them on the front. It's got to go on the back like a piece of terrain. Yes, opening up time. Alright, okay. Alright, let's check the Sprue. Now, this is all going to be used for my Sons of the Phoenix. And the reason why I say that is we've already had two. Well, for me, for Blood Angels, if you're a Blood Angel player, if you remember, there was a secret lieutenant which was on page 67 or something, and it was already one of the models that we had, which they tried to class as one of the standard intercessors, and that's great and all. So there's no point me having another 2 lieutenants. Just checking over the Sprue. So I'm going to just use them for my Sons of the Phoenix and just make sure that I've got a good basis for my army. That's looking good. I don't see any issues with that Sprue there. I'm just double checking it. You know, as I've always said, I've seen other YouTubers have problems with their Sprues, messed up janky, and that just looks fine. Got our bases there, which I'm really happy about. Multiple sizes and whatnot. And you know how I struggle to pick up bases anyway, so let's not spend the next 20 minutes me trying to pick them up. Did you see that? I picked them all up! Oh, dropped them. No, I picked them all up again. Alright, that's a first. Anyway, so let's have a look at this magazine. Ultramarine colours there on display, and that's fantastic as usual. As I said, I'm going in for some Sons of the Phoenix. The only thing I would still like them to supply is the decals. If you're playing this, and if you started out and you haven't got anything, I know if you've bought boxes, it's the first set of decals that you get is always the Ultramarines. I would like to see those for everybody to get their hands on. And again, maybe it's a way to stop people from being kind of railroaded into one faction. So this issue, let's have a look. We've got our Space Marine Ancients. We're going to get some information. Ultramarines Chapter Organization. So maybe they're going to show us how to build or have something to model our builds on when it comes to building an army. Just kind of structure, I should say. We've got Raising Banner High, Grey Knights, interesting. We've got the build, we've got the paint, we've got Capture the Banner. Oh, that makes a bit more sense now. Now you've got an ancient. And you've got full rules for Primaris Lieutenant and the Ancients. Now, if you did miss out on Calcius, Lieutenant Calcius, it will be interesting to see if it's the same, and we can just cross-reference that at the end. Okay, so looking at the Ancients, we get to see what they're about. A lot of people think these are just the banner men and they just stand there at the back and they hold the banner high, but actually they're how can I class them? Let's just say that banner means a hell of a lot to everyone that's on that field, so you have to put the best Marines with them. And normally they're like bodyguards. They are the bodyguards of the banners, and when they drop the banner, someone walks over and literally picks up the banner and takes a place of that person, and it's kind of recognized instantly. It's an honor. It's an honor to carry it. You might not have 2 hands to fight with, but trust me, if they've gotten that close, you've failed already. So with these banners, they tend to be an ancient relic, something of meaning for each chapter is very different, and they actually also have different effects. Now there are stratagems, so you will be familiar with stratagems that enable the banners to have multiple abilities or totally different abilities to the standard, so it's something worth checking out. I like my Blood Angels banner, but that's just me because I like chapter organisation, and this is actually quite key and important as well. I'm just going to adjust the light there so you can see a bit better. When it comes to the game itself, I mean, in War you could pretty much structure your army however you want in real life, but in the game system, to make things balanced, what they tend to do is they have a HQ unit, which is like the general of the army. Well, they say that you're the general, but you know that person's controlling the battlefield at that point, at that time. You only need one of those if you're just buying this starting from the beginning. So if you've just come in from here, you're pretty much looking okay. You don't have to have elites, which are like the kind of elite bodyguard or people with specialist skills. You don't need to have those, but you do need to have troops. And with this magazine, you are getting 5 troops instantly. So if you've got, I don't know, maybe 3 of these magazines, you've already covered your base right there. As regards to other specialist troops like Hellblasters, maybe a chaplain or anything else, you don't necessarily have to have those, but they do bring extra punch to your army. They give you different effects. So we're looking at companies here. My current Blood Angels, and I use those as a reference just to give an example, is the remnants of the Tyranid War on Baal. So there are different companies being pulled together because that's all what's left over from the Blood Angels. So if you do paint them up at a variety of different companies, don't panic too much. If you're using these symbols on like the knee pads or the knee pauldrons, that's not a problem. That's up to you, and it's fun. It's an easy way to separate which tactical squads with which, because sometimes obviously the armor looks so similar. You might need a little bit of division, and that can help. So raising the banner high, Grey Knights. Now Grey Knights I believe is about to get an update with the Psychic Awakening, so I don't know if they're going to move into Primaris models or not, because currently, even though you can paint your own versions of Primaris Grey Knights, they don't really at this point officially have Primaris models for them, which is like unique to them. So these guys have so much psychic power. They love their Terminator armor, they love their relics, they kick a lot of butt, and they mainly face off against demons, and they do so much damage against demons. They're like the Psychic Inquisition. That's the best way I could kind of relate them. Actually, they would be like paladins from D&D or Pathfinder. That's where I will go with these guys. So they've got lots of combat ability, lots of divine power, because they believe that Emperor is, the golden child, the only one that can stop the demons from the walk coming through. But they train their minds to fight off these demons, and they are just very elite, but very powerful. Almost like the Custodies. But anyway, look, I'm just disappearing off into that. Right, so we've got our Sprue, which is blatantly from the Dark Imperium box set, and I think you've even got the designation there. So I mean, if you ever did fall behind with this, you could literally go and get the Dark Imperium box set and catch up. But there's so many changes to Space Marines right now, you might want to just hold off if you've gone from one army, maybe a Xenos army, to this. So just hold fire for a bit and see what happens. So you got your build there for your lieutenants. Continue there with your intercessors. Let's have a look, and on to the ancients. The ancients, quite an easy build there. I believe the real customization will come down to... Hello, how are you? Come in, come in. Close the door behind you. Come and join me. Close the door. So I was just talking about the build section. There's a lot.
I got to show the Michael clip.
Yes, little baby Thanos. Yeah. Spekd Jr. has just learned how to click, and she's very proud of it. There you go, that's her clicking. Alright, let's continue. So we've got a paint guide there. So, no kick at the table, please.
I'm not.
Thank you. So we've got paint guides there, which we're going to use a lot more colours. And this is always interesting. designation from a distance, so you get a lot of mileage out of this. Just by painting that separate line on there, especially for Ultramarines players, that will give you an easy distinction to find out where your lieutenant is. As I said, it's kind of like putting the flames on the flamethrower models. Next, then we've got a color basis, which is really good. That's not too bad there. That banner might be a little bit tricky to paint if you're not used to painting such fine detail. Try and angle your brush about 45 degrees and just kind of guide it along the details, and that should pick it up. Don't worry too much about, kind of going over edges. What I suggest is paint parts in the middle first of all, and then go around. So put the color in and then go around with the gold. You should be fine. And if you're looking for that black outline there, I think they've just used a wash. It might be worthwhile laying the banner flat so you can pick up the details there. We've got Storm Host there. The rest of the colours good. It's a nice little painting guide. A bit larger than usual. Wild Rider Red. That does so much work. Don't forget that. I like them using the Mechanica Standards grey there to give the hair detail. That's pretty impressive. It's the first time I've seen that, even though I do hair detail myself. So, yep, the showing model. It's funny how they haven't actually shown you the holder which they supply to you. I suppose not everybody got that. Doesn't make any difference. Detail on the banner. Please make sure to put in your own kind of little badges and your own little kind of motifs that you want to. So at the end of the day, you can pick up your model and walk away rather than anybody else's. Right, that's how they all look, and again, that's a good set of models right there for one magazine. So when you compare what we had in the previous magazine, obviously I was a bit upset, but then if you compare the magazine to the model itself and the cost, then fair is fair. But when you compare it to an issue like this where you're getting so much, you kind of do wonder. But then again, I say that, but when you consider that they already have these molds and how much does raw plastic cost to make, they've already paid the design studios, they've already done the main kind of machining. So we're looking at £1 a model for this magazine. 8 models, $7.99. Yeah. So should it really be that much? I mean, we say it's a great bargain, but really, I suppose these could cost like 10p a model to make. Anyway, irrelevant. Defending the colours, I remember when I first figured out what the colours was, your flag, I was so happy to find that out. So, representing your colours. There's only little, I figured it was brilliant. So what have we got? We've got a capture the banner mission, this is kind of like the, the treasure mission from Age of Sigmar, where you pick the treasure up and control it. The tabletop donkey boys have actually, not donkey boys, but tabletop donkeys have done this game. And it's a lot of fun, so go check those guys out. So what have we got here? We've got Death Guard Army, 3 command points. There's something which you should always take note of, especially when you run these, because you're going to need it. Also, pay attention to your Warlord trait, and it does mean a lot in these games. Lord Felfius, Tated Cohort, 7 Plague Marines, Malefic Blight Hauler, 12 Poxwalkers. Facing off against, what have we got? Space Marine Captain, Primaris, Lieutenant, 10 Intercessors, 3 Hellblasters, Primaris, Ancient, and a Redemptor Dreadnought. Strangely enough, I'm gonna go with these guys. The idea is they need to actually capture the flag. So it's, yeah, I'm gonna go here. So both players roll off. The winner can decide who deploys first, and the players alternate deploying their units at the beginning with the player that chose to deploy first. Roll off again to determine which player takes the first turn. Objective marker represents a company banner. It can be picked up by any model that moves into base with it, and it can be moved, etc. But that group can't shoot. So yeah, that's all right. Now I don't have the stats to compare this lieutenant to Lieutenant Calcius. But overall, it all looks the same. There looks nothing special there. And we've got 2 of those, bear in mind, because you can have 2 of those in one drop. So that might be the change. So whereas before it's just 1, this actually points out that you can have 2, and then you can split them once they get on Company Heroes deployment. Right there. We have the Primaris Ancient, and depending upon which Ancient you select with which codex, you can have different banner abilities. This one here, is just totally deadly for the Ultramarines, which is if a model dies within 6 inches of you, you can actually roll d6, and on a 4+, that model gets to have one last attack. So it's really good because you can shoot your weapons. Only thing is, I don't like it in combat. It says, "I'll make a single attack as if it were fight phase." So you only get one physical attack. But if you've got a rapid fire weapon, and you go down in shooting phase, or in their shooting phase, or at any point, and you're not within combat, you can then shoot. So that's really good. If you combine them with the Hell Blasters, you're in for a win. Well, look, anyway, so guidance, look, get ready for closing out. So we have 2 new paints for the next issue. Yeah, okay. And we have our battle mat and our attack bike. This might be an issue worth just picking up on for its own merit, because you're getting a mat that you can use for kill team, and you're getting that attack bike, which you're probably going to use anyway. Overall, that wasn't a bad issue. I'm going to get the models up at the end. I don't think I'll have time to paint them before this video goes up. So I'll just show you what they look like, and in a later video I'll show you collectively what they currently stand as. But either way, I've enjoyed my time. I hope you've enjoyed yours. This has been Spekd. PC out.